Hello and happy 2019. I'm Krista Nair, CEO of Bootcamp Digital. And what I wanted to talk to you today about are 10 things that actually work in digital marketing. And here's why I wanted to talk about this today, because I was online, actually on my phone, on Facebook, and I was reading one of these reports on the 10 biggest trends in digital marketing. And if you're like me, you see these all the time. And I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with these. And here's why. Because what I found, I've been in digital marketing for a really long time now. And what I found is when you look at these trends, there's a couple problems with them, right? First of all, most of them are on these lists for 5 to 10 years. So if it's a trend, I feel like it should have like a start and an end time, not just indefinitely continue. The second thing I hate about them is that generally over half of them never actually become important. So if you actually try to implement something from these trends, there's a good chance you're going to waste your time. And then the third thing is, honestly, I feel like it's all based on a ton of hype and not a lot of actual business results. I mean, come on, I bet QR codes in the US were on this for years and years and years, and they never actually mattered. And people didn't use them and they didn't grow a lot of business. So as a result, what I want to talk to you about today are 10 things in digital marketing that will actually work and grow your business results. If you have comments or questions, feel free to ask them below. So let's dive in and talk about 10 things that actually work in digital marketing at this point in time. If you're new to joining me, just a little bit about me. I've been at this digital marketing and social media game for a long time. I've written 4 books, worked with all sorts of different companies, been on the news, all this other stuff. I have a new book coming out soon called Digital Marketing That Actually Works. And it's based on the same premise that we need to help people figure out what actually works and can grow their business versus misleading them with hypey things that maybe aren't going to have the biggest impact for them. The other important thing that you should know about me is I'm Canadian. And that means that I'm probably nicer than most of the people that you know right now. Okay, so without getting too far off track, as you can see by this awesome picture that I took today, these annual trends drive me crazy because a lot of it means that a lot of people waste their time on things that really ultimately don't actually work for them. So what I'm going to talk to you about today are things that will work for you in 2019. And keep in mind, sharing is caring. Feel free to post about this and tag us on any social network that you're on. And always tag us with #BootcampDigital with your insights or key takeaways. And we periodically send special friends who mention us online a free copy of one of our books. So without further ado, trend numero uno, the first trend in digital marketing that is important for you to think about as a part of your strategy. And the first trend that I want to draw your attention to is what you are in right now, which starts with a V, and it is video. So video is something that I think is often, everyone talks about it, but still a lot of businesses don't use it or don't use it well. And the days of not using video or not using video as well as you could are long gone. These days, you need to use video in a compelling and interesting way if you want to capture and hold the attention of your audience. You've heard that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, what do you think a video is worth? It's like 1,000,000 billion, right? Many, 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 many words. And so here's the thing, is that if video isn't a core part of your strategy, you're not setting yourself up for success on any channel. And this isn't just social, right? So video mattering, it's email, it's your website, it is social media. It's every single touch point, though, that you have with a customer where you want to integrate video in a compelling and interesting and productive way. It doesn't have to be expensive. That's the other thing that a lot of us miss. I mean, look at what I'm doing right now. I even have a sweet $25 selfie light that would make me look way better, but I forgot to turn it on before I started. But here's the thing, you don't need a fancy setup. This is me with no lighting in my kitchen. And ideally, better lighting does make you look better. But the point is that even if you don't have a big budget, creativity can win the day for you. Find creative ways to use video. And if you're not sure, start by testing some things. If I think of our journey and the journey of many of our clients over the years, some things work right away, but oftentimes we try a couple things, some work, some don't. And that's been true with our video strategy. There's some videos on our YouTube channel that have under 50 views. What a waste of time. But you know what? There's others that have over 250,000 views. And what we try to do is test, experiment, and learn. So video, video, video. And the other big bonus of doing more video is that you can repurpose your videos across channels. So you actually can record a video like this for Facebook, but then repurpose it on YouTube or on LinkedIn or any channel where you have a presence to grow the ultimate reach of the audience that you're connecting with. So with video, also think about where else can I be putting this to grow my impact and my return on investment. But video, 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 which again, I'm sure is probably not new to many of you. Okay, the next one is like, again, I'm focusing here on what actually works. And you may say, okay, that's what I want to give you, not these like trends, AR, VR, blah, blah, blah. So here's something that actually works. And maybe you think this is lame and uninteresting, but it is LinkedIn. So here's why LinkedIn actually works. Because LinkedIn is it's an established platform, right? We all know this. But the reason that LinkedIn actually works so well is they've invested a lot in driving time on site and getting more people spending more time there. There are now LinkedIn influencers, which personally I found a little surprising, but there are LinkedIn influencers who, like all these people do, is try to grow audience on LinkedIn in the same way people do on Instagram and other places. And it's interesting to me because when LinkedIn started, it really was about connecting with people you knew, right? And strengthening those relationships. And LinkedIn strongly discouraged you from connecting to people you didn't know. And over the years, yeah, you can follow people even if you're not friends with them and stuff like that, but it really hasn't been this public platform that it is starting to become. And I think we're in the early stages of really, really getting these kinds of awesome results from LinkedIn. So I'm like super hot on LinkedIn right now. I think everyone should be too. So I think things that actually work LinkedIn, but it's not just about creating a great profile. You have to go further than that and really create and regularly share compelling content that connects with people. And as I look at my LinkedIn stats, I got to tell you, I've been hot on LinkedIn for a long time. I've always liked it. I've always put effort into it. But I had a video post that organically got over 5,000 views on LinkedIn. Now, okay, I'm not going to be a viral video unboxing superstar with those 5,000 views, but it's way more than I was getting on Facebook or any of my other channels. And so I think it can be a really powerful platform, and we're going to see this continue to grow over the next little while. The next thing to pay attention to and start exploring if you haven't yet is stories. So quick background and some super awesome trivia on stories. Some of you probably already know this if you follow us often because I talk about this stuff a lot, but stories is the fastest growing launch of any Facebook product ever. Stories grew faster than WhatsApp, Instagram, it grew faster than anything else, Messenger, anything else that Facebook has ever launched. And more people actually use Instagram stories than use Snapchat at all. So stories are huge. They're also now available on Facebook. So it's not just Instagram. There's rumors that LinkedIn will launch stories starting next year. And on top of that, YouTube now is experimenting with stories formats for some of their creators. So stories, 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 stories. Many of you probably are like, oh, geez, I haven't really been playing around with these yet. That's okay. Stories are still at the stage where they're really starting to just gain traction and momentum. Here's what I would recommend that you do. I'll post a story after this on our Facebook page just so you can check it out. But seriously, just start playing around with these stories so that you can start to get a feel for how they work, all the fun stuff you can do with them. I was at Facebook's Instagram Story School a couple months ago, and it was real cool. They just, they talk about play and fun, and there's a place for this with brands and businesses. And it's maybe a little difficult because stories, much like Instagram, feel more authentic than we're kind of used to, and maybe even more unprofessional or like off the cuff. But stories are huge and growing, and definitely something that you want to be paying attention to if you want to grow your business in the next few years, because this is the format. Facebook believes this is the future format of the news feed. So start using them for yourself, start using them for your business, get experience with this format, because more people will see more of your content if you use the stories format. Plus, I think it's a lot of fun, and we're seeing elements of stories pop up in every social network. So you definitely don't want this to get you by surprise. So my next tip is arguably my least sexy one. So focus on foundations. As I look at the trends that I've seen over the years in digital marketing, this is why I hate these trends, right? Because then everyone's like, oh, I need a chatbot, I need AR, I need this, I need that. And to me, it's all a huge distraction. If I actually wanted like other companies to suck, I would just probably like put these trend reports in their social media marketers' news feeds, because it's a huge distraction, because most of this stuff, it's so early on, so leading edge. It's not where you're going to get the results right now. And the thing is, if you have unlimited amount of time and effort, then by all means, go ahead and spend your time and energy in AR, VR, et cetera. And big companies do that. Like General Electric, they do that. They have a small percentage that they use for experimentation. But most of us are not nailing the basics. We're not nailing the foundations that create business growth. And I can't tell you how many businesses that I'll go and see, and I look at their social media, for example, and they're just not using basic best practices, and it's not performing well. And when I say, well, what do you guys want to talk about today? They'll say, we want to know the biggest trends, we want to know what's coming in the future, and we want to know the tools to use. These are the three most common things people ask me. But you don't need to know the trends. You need to do the stuff that we know works better and with best practices. And so keep in mind, everything comes at a cost. Your time comes at a cost. Your attention comes at a cost. Your focus, your money, your resources. So focus on the foundations. Look, the core elements of digital marketing: advertising, website, email, social. These are all proven strategies that will grow your business over time. And doing them better is pretty much a guarantee to grow your business results. So this is not popular, but focus on foundations if you really want to thrive. And if you're not meeting the basics, that should be your priority. But then go beyond that and focus on optimization. I was talking to someone recently who was telling me about YouTube ads. And I love YouTube ads. There's so many cool things that we could be doing there, don't get me wrong. But look, our search ads, which I know work, are not performing as well as they could be. So before I go chasing down something new where I have a lot to learn and I have to expend a lot of time and energy, what I want to do is focus my effort on where I know I can get results, which is the foundations. I know search gets me results. I've invested in it for 7 years, and I still haven't mastered it well enough that I want to add more things that are going to distract my attention away. So whether you're a Fortune 500 or a small business, think about those foundations and nailing them and then improving them, because that is more likely to ultimately grow your business. Now, we had a question come in that I'll answer quickly about stories. And the question is, so stories are on both Instagram and Facebook. YES, yes. So if you're on Facebook, you typically will see them the same way you do at Instagram. I believe it's at the top of your screen. And groups can have stories and pages can have stories. So up until I want to say it was like late 2008, businesses were not able to have stories on Facebook. It was only for people. And Facebook launched Instagram stories for people quite some time ago. But they allowed businesses to advertise, to do story ads, and also to create stories themselves that do show up in the stories timeline. So yeah, this is stories is a strategy for both Instagram and Facebook, and I would look for it coming soon to LinkedIn as well. So great question. Thank you for asking. Okay, so the next trend that I want to share with you after my boring one is Messenger, and I'm hesitant to use the word chatbots here. Now, I have a whole course on chatbots, okay? So it's not that I'm anti-chatbots. And if you really want to learn about them, we have a great course on Bootcamp Institute. Check it out. But here's the thing about chatbots is that I think, to me, where we're at with chatbots is it reminds me a little bit of where we were a while back with things like QR codes, where the marketer adoption was far outpacing user adoption. And I think Messenger is a powerful platform. Well, it's not what I think. The statistics show Messenger is a super powerful platform. Outside of the use, WhatsApp is the default communication platform that people are using. But even though Messenger is important, chatbots, automating these messages, man, look, we can't even automate a phone tree well, right? You know, you call and it's like, dial 1 for this. That's what, that's what basic chatbots are at their foundation. So I think Messenger is important, and I would pay attention to Messenger, and I would start experimenting with Messenger. With chatbots, I would really try and take a good look and see if there's a good reason to do them. Pete Blackshaw, who is a friend of mine who has done digital marketing much longer than me, wrote something interesting recently, and it was like, all these companies want to do chatbots, but they don't even know the top 5 questions that their customers are asking on customer service. And I think this is really true, that when it comes to chatbots, there's a lot of excitement, but ask yourself, ask your friends, go and experiment. There's not a lot of great chatbots out there. And honestly, I would put ours in this list, where we experimented to have a chatbot because we are teaching people about this stuff. But I think we have a long way to go to make chatbots really work. So if you have a great reason, if you have the time and money to invest, by all means, go ahead. But look, at a recent social media conference, 50% of the sessions were on chatbots. I mean, come on. We don't even really know if this is driving a lot of ROI for average businesses. Yes, there's a lot of hype about it, and I don't hate chatbots. I wrote a course on them. Like, I think they can be helpful. I think they're worth learning about, and I think they're worth keeping an eye on. Right now, for most businesses, are they worth doing? No. For some businesses, are they? Yeah. KLM has a great chatbot. When I got off my plane 2 nights ago, their chatbot told me where my luggage was. That was super helpful. That's a great use of a chatbot. But the truth is, sadly, most of us don't have these great uses yet. So my suggestion on chatbots would be to maybe we want to just wait and see a little bit before we invest there, so that we're doing something that we know will grow our business. The next trends that I have for you is, well, it's not a trend because I hate trends, but the next thing that I want to talk to you about is mobile, mobile, mobile. And I have a love, hate, and mixed feelings when it comes to mobile, because look, almost since I started in digital marketing, everyone's talked about mobile. And I used to create classes on mobile marketing. The reality, though, is that if you look at this chart that I have here, the US actually lags in mobile. So actually, the US is a lagger when it comes to the rest of the world in terms of how mobile friendly or how many people are using mobile. But when you look at almost every digital marketing tool, websites, email, search, social, video, all of this is over 50% mobile already, if not on the way. Now, none of you are watching this saying, holy cow, Krista, you blew my mind. I had no idea mobile was important. Hopefully none of you are saying that. But how many of you are evaluating all of your digital marketing on a phone first? That's the what actually works for today, right? With mobile. It's not that, oh, groundbreaking, people use mobile. It's that we still are not doing a good enough job to make sure we have mobile experiences that are good for people. And that means things like less text. It means things like focused, clear images, all of this stuff. So I know mobile is maybe not the sexiest non-trend that I'm going to talk to you about, but it's about the implementation here. The next trend is not good, not great, but outstanding creative. Facebook recently launched a creative inspiration studio where you can go and see some of the top performing posts by category. I definitely think that we need to create better creative if we want to break through. And you know what I should have had as a trend on here, and if I do this again, I will. But what I should have had on a trend maybe is testing as well, because how do you create outstanding creative? It's testing and analytics. So if you want to create amazing creative that stands out, test, and look at your analytics and be bold and try new and different things. But mediocre is not going to break through the newsfeed and have thumb-stopping power. If I think of the growth and transition I've seen in social media over the years, it started with create content people actually like to break through the algorithm. Then we said, well, who cares? You can't be seen anyways, just run an ad. And now we realize, well, even our ads have to be outstanding creatively if we want to break through the noise and clutter on Facebook, or honestly any other channel for that matter. Even if you technically don't have to, even if it's a forced view, we know that stuff that has user value and brand value combined in a compelling way is the recipe for success. So really focus on creating compelling content. So the next trend that I have, again, I'm going to win for the most non-sexy advice that you'll hear all year, but analytics. So I work with a lot of big Fortune 500 companies, and what blows my mind, and this is true with big companies and small companies, but what blows my mind is that they want to talk about big data and they're investing and sucking in all this data from all these different sources and all these things, but none of their marketers even check the basic data available about how their digital marketing is performing right now. So, well, they're so interested in things like big data and analytics platforms and all of these things. If no one looks at the data, it actually doesn't really matter that it's there. You need to use data to inform your decisions. And what I would love is for us to step back and think about like casual data usage. So it's not about a big complex analysis. What it's about to me is integrating data into your day-to-day so that every day you're checking in. Before you do something, you take a quick look, and it can be 5 minutes. So what I find most of the time is that if I'm looking to do something and I say, well, how did the last one perform? You can answer that question really quick, sometimes in 2 minutes, but we just don't make the time. It's not part of our way of thinking yet. And so we need to integrate analytics into our basic way of working, so that we're getting more used to just checking in, seeing what's going on, and being a little more, I would say, fluid and agile with our analytics in order to really drive impact. So the next big trend or the next big thing that will actually work in digital marketing is to be strategic in where you spend your time and energy, and to have more creativity. Now, I'm showing you a picture here that probably looks like the opposite of creativity to you, because what I don't mean is creative creativity, right? So it's not like nice ideas, viral videos, fancy creative. What I mean by better creative ideas is we need to think of smarter ways to use the tools at our disposal. And if I think of some of the digital executions that have driven the most business impact recently, it's not necessarily using a hot new tool, or it's not necessarily, creating some funky, complex chatbot. Oftentimes, it's a business thinking of a smarter way to use the stuff at their disposal. So, for example, a company selling new homes, they started to ask for contact information from everyone who came into the model homes and ran Facebook retargeting ads. Facebook ads is not a breakthrough idea, but this was a great way to use them. So to me, it's about coming up with creative ways to use the tools at your disposal to drive business impact. So creativity wins these days, but not necessarily. I did say creative or content, great content matters, so of course it does, but the big winners, I think, in digital in the next year are those who just come up with great ideas of how to use a channel or how to use a platform. And oftentimes, this isn't the stuff winning awards. This isn't the stuff you see in case studies. It's somebody who comes up with, what if I use this ad in this way? What if I retarget it in this way? What if I tried this email retargeting method in order to increase my open rate over time? And oftentimes it's these ideas that start with a business problem that really grow your results. And so start with your business problem. What is it that you want to achieve for your business? And then get some creative digital solutions behind it if you really want to maximize your impact there. So my 10th thing that actually works in digital marketing is to focus on impact. And I believe this so strongly. It's actually think impact is what we say. I don't know if you can see this, but I have a bracelet that Melissa from Bootcamp Digital had made for us all that says think impact. And the reason that this is something that I'm so passionate about is because when I've been at marketing for a long time, I've been running a business for a long time, I've consulted thousands of businesses. And what I find is that most businesses, what we struggle with is making sure we're spending our time and energy on the right things, right? And this is part of why I hate these trend posts, because I think they focus a lot of our efforts on not the places that are having the biggest impact. So when I say think impact, what I would like to inspire and encourage you to do is to think about the areas of your digital marketing that can have the biggest impact on your bottom line for the smallest amount of effort. And as you sort through your activities, so at Bootcamp Digital, when we do our annual planning, we actually create this grid on a wall and all our ideas are on sticky notes. And this is how we decide what we're gonna focus on. And the reason is because there's no end to what you could do in digital marketing. The question is what you should do. And so by focusing on impact, what you're able to do is to really step back and think about what is going to drive the most impact for my business this year. And I think this is the hardest thing to do, is to really step back and say, what is my goal for this execution? And what do I think it's going to do to actually grow my business? And you don't need a complicated ROI for this, just a basic idea, right? Maybe based on some math. I have a whole course on this that goes into a lot more detail on digital measurement, but just have some basic math, some basic ideas to measure the impact so that you know you're spending your time and energy on the right things. Because what I often see is businesses will say, well, I was thinking about doing this. And it's not about whether or not something is a good or a bad idea, because in general, like anything could work. The question is usually, oftentimes what I find is the answer is, well, it's just not the first thing I would do. So it's not a bad idea. It's not that it wouldn't work. But there's so many things you could do that are probably going to drive your business further, right? It's like I mentioned YouTube ads earlier. They're not a bad idea. They probably could work, but search ads where I'm getting people who are like hot, that is gonna be more impactful and less effort, especially because there's less creative involved than YouTube. So think about where everything is on the investment impact and think impact so that you're maximizing the results that you get from your digital marketing efforts. So 10 things that will actually work for you in your digital marketing for this year. And so as you think about where you want to focus your time and effort, it's video, LinkedIn, stories, foundations, Messenger, and look at chatbots. Mobile matters more, outstanding content, integrate analytics, creativity wins, and hashtag think impact, which is my new motto for Bootcamp Digital. So hopefully this has been helpful for you today. If you have enjoyed this, please like it or share it so we can spread the things that actually work further than the trends. If you're interested in learning more or getting certified with Bootcamp Digital, you can always check out our certifications. And since you made the time commitment to stick with us till the very end, and I know you're committed to your success, I wanted to give you the opportunity to take advantage of a special offer with us to save $100 on social media or digital marketing or SEO certification with code GETCertified. This is only good until next Friday. So if you are thinking about it definitely don't waste too much time. And if you have any questions, you can reach us through chat on our site, email. You can even call us up on a telephone if that's your preferred method of communication. If certification isn't for you, we also have a free trial on right now for our All Access Pass, where you can access our entire library at a free trial for 14 days. And this is a great way to check out all of our content and see how you can take your digital marketing efforts to the next level. So again, you can save $100 on certification. You need the code Get Certified, or you can check out our All Access Pass for free. With that, thank you so much for joining me today. It has been my absolute pleasure to rant with you a little, but hopefully provide you with some value. And look, maybe these are not all new ideas. I get that, but these are all things that we can all do just a little bit better. And I don't think anymore, I think we're getting a lot more established in digital marketing. And I don't think the big incremental improvements in our results, they're not going to come by hopping on the next new thing. I really think those are going to come by getting better and better and more creative at using the stuff that we know works. And when I look for the trends in digital marketing now, I look at Facebook and Google and what they're doing. I don't spend my time looking at all these new social networks that are going to be gone next year, because I know I want to focus. Where's my bracelet? I want to focus on impact. So thank you so much for joining. This has been my pleasure. Hope it's been interesting and helpful for you. I know it has been a super long video, and I appreciate you sticking with me till the end. Thank you so much, and have a great day.